Hello, I'm George Gershwin. You might know me as the composer of many great American jazz and pop pieces of the 20s and 30s, such as Rhapsody in Blue and An American Paris, or the musical Porgy and Bess. Let me tell you the story of how I took the American music industry by storm and forever changed it. I was born in Brooklyn, New York on September 26, 1898. I didn't even start playing the piano until I was about 13 or 14. I guess I must have had a little talent, or whatever you call it, but I practiced regularly, and that's what counts. I quickly started to learn to play ragtime and classical pieces, so I quickly became the pianist in the family. I got so good that at 15 I quit school for a job on Tin Pan Alley as a song plugger that paid $15 a week. When I was 17, I wrote my first published song, When You Want 'Em, You Can't Get 'Em, and when you got 'em, you don't want 'em. Obviously I was referring to women. At 19 years old I was registered to fight in World War I. This was a big risk, since I had just written Swanee and I was starting to break out as a composer, and I could lose it all in the war. But what I didn't know is that World War I changed me into a man that could finally change the music industry. I was stationed in Africa, and during the nights I would leave the camp and hear the African tribal rhythms, and write them down. And because they were so different than anything I was hearing back in home in America, when I returned I blended these rhythms with the music I was writing, and that's when I became a hit machine. Here, let me prove to you how valuable these rhythms are. One rhythm I wrote down while in Africa was what musicians like to call a triple over duple. What it is 3 notes spread over a pulse of 2. This came through in my first piano prelude. Here's what the song might have sounded had I never gone to Africa and stuck with these American rhythms. Now, that wasn't very good, but once I blended in the rhythms of Africa, here's what the song could become. See the difference? I was able to do the amazing task of blending the rhythms of tribal Africa with the chords of early jazz music. Now, although rhythm was a huge part of my writing, especially in Porgy and Bess and the song I've Got Rhythm, obviously there was the other side to music, which is the tones, the melodies, the harmonies, and the chords. These I learned from the Romantic period, and I'll prove it to you again. This time with my more famous Rhapsody in Blue. The Romantic period was known for its long, rich-toned melodies from composers like Tchaikovsky and Beethoven. This is the October song by Tchaikovsky. Now try and see how I blended those long-toned, rich melodies into Rhapsody in Blue. It took me 3 weeks to write Rhapsody in Blue. I'd always wanted to write something blue and Paul Whiteman inspired. So I've been able to take the rhythms of tribal drums of Africa and the melodies of European Romantic period and blend it into my own form of American jazz music. You see, true music must repeat the thought and inspirations of the people and the time. Now, my people were American, and my time is today. The epitome of my creation of jazz American music can be seen in American Paris. You see, all these tales of people sitting down and composing symphonies as though they were writing a letter are very much exaggerated. At least, it isn't how I do my work. I was riding on a subway, and all of a sudden the song came to me, the entire thing. You see, I frequently hear music in the very heart of noise. This song was my masterpiece. It had the African rhythms, it had the romantic period melodies, but most of all, it was an American tone poem. It was the musical embodiment of America in the 20s.